This episode of Tryin is brought to you by Heculiner truck bed liner. Welcome to Tryin.
My hands hurt.
What do you do when the bed liner is coming out of your truck?
Apparently you peel it out with your fingertips.
Yes.
Because that's what we've been doing.
I use tools. You're the one that had to use your hands, man, because it's natural.
So this week you're excited. You're getting a new bed liner, or we're in the process of putting in a new bed liner in your truck.
Right, so my beater, the Baja beater, the long suffering, I think at this point I've carried like 30,000 pounds of debris. But the bed liner, which is probably as old as you are,
I would not be surprised.
is a little,
It's not in the greatest shape.
it was peeling, it was cracking, we found rust underneath it, we may have found Jimmy Hoffa underneath it in one section. So we've been working with Peak Automotive this month. They challenged us to do a DIY bed liner install with Heculiner, which is actually the best-selling roll-on bed liner material sold in America today. And guess what?
What?
It's all about prep.
I hate prep.
So as you can see from our bunny suits, black gloves, and other neighbor scaring stuff, we are almost ready to start applying the Heculiner in the bed, but we wanted to go over the prep process before we started daubing and rolling.
Yeah, so Heculiner, if you want it to be as strong as a professionally sprayed bed liner, it's all about the prep.
Yes.
So first, what we did was we pulled out Patrick's old bed liner, which was a real big pain.
Came with the truck, and there was like dirt behind it. We thought we were just gonna power wash it out and then fill in the holes with Heculiner, and then we started ripping the old bed liner out, and then 4 hours later, all the bed liner was out.
Which is good. It's good to start fresh. We took off the tailgate and then kind of wiped out all of the big dirt pieces. We wiped it down with some detergent and some water, and then we started scrubbing.
So you get like a Scotch-Brite pad in the Heculiner kit that comes with the rollers. We augmented that with some 80 grit foam sanding blocks with some additional coarse Scotch-Brite pad-like material.
Just sand, 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 sand.
Basically, you want to remove the shine. You want it to be dull. And once that's done, you know, we shop vac it out. We wiped it down again. And since we can't buy xylene or mech in the state of California, because apparently it'll turn our brains into goo, we have industrial maintenance coating thinner, which also will probably turn your brain into goo, but we can buy in the state of California. And that's to basically prep the surface by removing all the grease and smudge and stuff like that. Be careful with what you use to thin out Heculiner or to prep for it, because some things will actually not work. Like just because it works for house paint doesn't mean it's going to work for Heculiner.
Use xylene if you can, because that's what's recommended. And we also taped off everything because you don't want the Heculiner going in all the holes.
Yeah, so we put down plastic to make sure we wouldn't get this, because this stuff, Heculiner will basically be permanently attached to your skin or anything it dries on, so we masked off stuff in the area. We filled in bolt holes with blue tape. We masked off areas we don't want to become permanently covered with bed liner. Be generous with this stuff and make sure you pull it off as soon as you've applied the second coat. Don't let the second coat dry with this on there. And we should point something out. The first coat is going to look awful. Think of it as a primer. It's the second coat that makes it look money. Just saying.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So your prep's done. You're ready to apply a Heculiner. You get the can out. Do not put the can. Do not shake can. Don't put it in a paint shaker down at your local paint shop. Contents under pressure. You don't want to explode this all over the operation.
But you do want to mix your Heculiner can a whole lot because there's a bunch of little plastic bits in there and you want them dispersed.
Michael's using one of those plastic stirring things on the end of a metal stick that goes into a drill. They are so awesome for mixing thick stuff like this.
All right, applying. First grab your 2-inch brush and kind of dab the corners and the edges. You just want to dab, dab, dab and get stuff that the roller's not going to be able to get.
A couple resources on the internet suggested I daub the low spots in between the ridges on the base of the bed, the bottom of the bed, and I'm actually really glad I did, because getting the roller into those little nooks and crannies is just about impossible.
On to rolling. First do all the sides and such, and then you can go ahead and go to the floor. Make sure that you plan out your route.
Yeah, this is a real measure twice, cut once situation, because if you don't do that spot up there at the front of the bed completely before you paint the rest of the bed, you'll be doing crazy cat moves, hanging over the side, standing on buckets just to reach that spot. Ask us how we know. That first coat you want to let sit for 1 to 4 hours. Basically, when it's not tacky, you're ready to put on the second coat. Make sure you put that second coat on within 24 hours if you want it to actually stick to the first coat, and let it dry for 5 or 6 days before you drop a load of concrete into it.
But after about 24 hours, you're good to go for light use.
Cool.
But while it is drying, if you have leftover Heculiner, you can use it for over 101 ways. Their website says Heculiner.com.
You went kinda nuts.
I did go crazy with this. I put it on the bottom of my shoes, the top of a table, a phone case, a skateboard, because why not?
All delightfully improved through the glorious tactile coating from our sponsor, Heculiner.
So much traction on that phone case.
So much traction on those shoes, dude.
Oh my goodness, look at this.
It's amazing.
It actually looks a lot better than it did, and it actually looks really, I gotta say, I had the same reaction most of the internet does, because you get the first layer on and you go, what was I thinking? And then the second layer goes on and you're like, hey, I saved a lot of money and I did this myself.
So probably our best idea with this was disposable coveralls, because this stuff gets everywhere.
Yes, Tyvek bunny suits and latex gloves or nitrile gloves or whatever kind of gloves you want to use. Because if you get this on your pants or your work boots and it dries there, it's going to be a semi-permanent part of that clothing.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, if your spouse, say your husband's kind of aggro about when the dog pees on the driveway,
Get some plastic sheets to put down.
just in case you knock over, or the wind actually knocks over a gallon of Heculiner.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
a great situation. But this was a whole lot of work, but the results look amazing, and we saved a whole bunch of money by doing it this way.
I'm excited. We're gonna let it cure for a week, and then next weekend I'm gonna throw 3,000 or 4,000 pounds of concrete that used to be known as my driveway into the back of it, and we'll see how it holds up. If you're curious about that, do us a favor, tweet at Tryin, at Palmdale, at Patrick Norton, or
You can find us at youtube.com/dietrying or dietryin.com.
comment down below,
Please.
say evil things, say nice things. Actually, say nice things. If you want to be
Please.
evil, keep it to yourself. Because, you know, golden rule. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And we hope you will share this show with your friends, family, acquaintances, co-workers, and maybe that guy down the street with the ugly truck. Should we paint my truck next?
We'll give it a few weeks.
I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Michael Hand.
Thanks for watching Die Tryin.
Oh my god, this is the best right now.
You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Right foot